Councilwoman Rubio, has brought up a number of allegations in regard to invoices and issues of how our contractors get paid. Let me just make it clear that the council members do not pay invoices. We do not okay them. It all runs through staff, and they're the ones that okay a lot of those issues. But because she did bring that up, and she did not provide us with what she was discussing, she did not provide invoices to all the council and to staff so that staff could properly address those issues. And I think that's unfair that she did that. And I would ask that if she has concerns, she's bringing those forth. Now, I did some research on my own. I was concerned with some of the issues she brought up. And Cruz Baca and Susan Rubio sit on a committee for the Civic Center project that they were doing. And they were allocated, I'm sorry, excuse me, but I am speaking.
Councilmember, it is not on the agenda, so you might want to wait. Public communication or agenda is it? Let's be
Well, this is public communication.
Well, no, but it's not on the agenda. It's not in the agenda. You got to be super brief.
Well, okay, I'll be brief.
I'll
be brief. Okay. So they overspent in that budget. They overspent it by about $2,000. They're the ones that, and the project isn't done. It's not completed, and they overspent their money. And so when the time comes, we'll do a little more investigation and see how that money came about. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much.
Mayor, first of all, this is like, for example, the committee that both you and Cruz were on, where you guys met with a consultant to design the Civic Center Park. And you guys went over your budget. That didn't come to the council. I have proof here. You can see these invoices that I have here. And and this work was never completed, Cruz. I mean, I'd like to know what happened to the architect that you worked with that you paid something like $507,000 for. We'll pass that down. Susan, maybe you could answer this.
I could answer that, absolutely. You want me to answer that?
Not right now, because I'm talking
Okay.
to you when I'm done. You can pass this down, Susan. I mean, I want to be transparent. I don't know.
That's fine, I'm ready to answer all your concerns.
And I will answer those questions.
I did my homework.
There was some money that was allocated for this project, and you guys went over by about $2,000 and never came to the council for the overage that you guys went to. The project was never completed, and yet you guys allowed them to get paid. And there's something wrong there, Cruz. I need to find out why these issues take place and why it is that you guys are continuing to these kinds of projects. You guys work together, you and Susan, and you approve these projects. Matter of fact, I have let me give you the staff report. Here's the Civic Center project. The first one that I have here, and it's proof, $226,394 was one of them. You pass that down. Here. I have plenty for all of you. Okay. I think we should be this transparent. I think when Susan makes these allegations about staff and trying to make it that it's staff fault and they're not doing their job, I think it's wrong. I think you should come here, talk to staff, bring the information forward, and then talk to us about it. Because half the stuff you all talk about, we as council, I don't see any of the documents that you're talking about. So you could keep on talking and making accusations that, I don't have the information, but I want to provide you with what you have. So you were both, there was both reports, one for $226,394, another for $279,020, and 500. So that's a total of $505,014. Now, but you guys paid them on the invoice, more money than $507,000, and the job wasn't done. So how can you come here and tell me that these jobs aren't, that everyone else is here is not following the procedure? You guys didn't follow procedure, and that's wrong. I think it needs to be investigated and look at what happened to all that money. I mean, they're just,
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is you, Cruz.
I have an answer. Clarify the meetings that Mr. Pacheco was referring to. is an ad hoc meeting that was created 2 years ago with the permission of the council, because it was brought to the council and it was voted on. The idea was to bring a park plaza across the street where right now it's currently vacant and it doesn't look aesthetically, pleasing. And so there were around 700,000, I believe, monies that was tax dollars that are specifically designed to build open space. And so that money was sitting there for a long, long time. And considering how, like I said, it doesn't look very beautiful outside our city hall, we decided to figure out how we can use the money that was actually set aside for open space and create something beautiful across the street. At the time, we did bring it to the council, and I can ask Shannon to pull it because we already pulled it. It was brought to the council for approval. It was approved. Once we started meeting, it was agenda. I'm talking about the ad hoc committee, if I'm not mistaken. Manny Creel, remember, every meeting we had was agendized, and we would meet separately, and everyone was open to come and join us. It was open in the third floor, open to the public, open to come and give input. And then when the project was completed, it was brought here twice, 2 phases, one to show the progress of the project, then the last one was to show the 3D rendering that we eventually came to create. Now, Mr. Pacheco is saying that project wasn't completed. Let me remind you why it wasn't completed, because when we were ready to move forward with it, after spending so much money on it, and 2 years of planning and designing and really being very strategic about possibly making income, at the time, Mr. Pacheco decided that he wanted to give that land to a developer to build 72 apartments. And it's something that it hasn't been hidden. I mean, we've been very vocal about continuing the project because we felt that an open park would be more beneficial to our residents. And that is why the project got stopped, not because we chose to stop it. With the full approval of council, and we could bring all the agenda items, we moved forward with this project, but it stalled because they decided to move forward with 72 apartments. And everything is agendized and open to the public. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Cruz Marco, yes.
Yes, and the one thing that Councilmember Rubio forgot was that we had 2 public hearings where Mark Castanola and the architect and some of our staff and of course the residents, we had it at the Avocado Room at the community center. We had 2 meetings, one in the evening and one in the afternoon, so that the seniors would see it as well in the community center. But we did have public hearings. We got comments from some of the residents that we deserve this park. It was a wonderful idea for them, so there was no hidden agenda about this park. Mayor, you yourself said that it was a great idea last year at the street fair. You announced that it was a great idea. I don't know if you remember or not, but you did say that it was a great idea. At that time, we felt that it was a go. It was nothing hidden. Everyone was welcome to the meetings, like Councilmember Rubio said. So there was nothing hidden.
Well, and I have to reiterate, of course the project stopped because we were not going to spend any more money since the land was designated, you decided to give the land to a developer for 72 apartments. So why would we continue to spend even a penny moving forward with something that came to a halt? And all of you that have been to our council meetings, you remember how hard I fought because we had already spent such a significant amount of money, resources, staff time. We spent 2 years of our time with staff designing it, really engaging the community, as Councilmember Baca said. We took community input. I mean, there was a lot of things that went into it, and of course, I will reiterate, of course it didn't come to completion because we had to stop it. Once you decided that you were going to give the developer the land for the 72 apartments, why would we spend one more penny telling them, give us specifications for something that clearly was a project that was not going to get done? So yes, of course it didn't get done because we decided why spend any more money. Once we knew that it wasn't going to go, but it wasn't going to be done, we just told them, we're not going to pay you any more money, so we had to stop it. There was no point moving forward.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Cruz Marco.
The renderings were completed. Everything was. They even had, and we can get it from staff for you, Dan Wall had a copy of the aerial view of everything and the different phases, starting with phase 1, which we had worked on, the pavilion that was going to be built, how the street was going to go out towards the Methodist Church, and then phase 2 would be to incorporate City Hall and eventually have bleachers or whatever, which would be a veterans walk or a veterans recognition, so that if you were at the pavilion and there was music there, or the choirs, or whatever it is, the participation of our residents or our schools, you could sit almost like an amphitheater seating, like the Grand Park that's in downtown Los Angeles. It would be very similar. There were 3 phases. All of it was completed. That was showed to us. Maybe you weren't at that particular council meeting or at that special meeting, but I'm sure that Sam, because Dan Wall had it and he sent it to us, when I requested it via email about a year ago, I'm sure that Sam can find the renderings, and it was completed. Everything was complete. It was getting ready for the shovels to hit the ground when you came in with that development project, and everything had to be put on hold, of course, because now there was not going to be a Civic Plaza, and you were very vocal about that you did not want a Civic Plaza, even though we had many studies at the time, and even Supervisor Solis has said that we need green space and open space, and that Baldwin Park is park poor. You still moved forward and forged ahead and said, no, we're going to go ahead with this development. You brought Mr. Walburn in to do the presentation, and the rest is history. But the renderings are complete, and everything is as well. Like I said, there is like a video of what everything was going to look at, and I'm going to ask Sam Gutierrez, please, if you can find it, or maybe get a hold of Mr. Wall and see where it is in the archives or whatever. If not, maybe I can find it in my emails. But I'm not done yet. I'm sorry. I'm not done yet. But I think that for us to say, and I will reiterate what Councilmember Rubio said, for us to think and to question the invoices, staff is more than qualified to do the work that we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. And I know we've got, Sam Gutierrez said that he's going to San Diego tomorrow to see about the Metrolink grant for the quiet zone. I mean, are we going to pay someone else $172 an hour or $50,000 to drive to San Diego to do the same thing that Sam has been working on for such a long time, that knows the residents and hears the complaints here at the council meetings every 2 weeks? I really do believe that we need to very, very diligently, I'm not the one that signs the checks, but it is our responsibility to look at the warrants and demands. I have been doing that since I was first elected as a council member. I have had many questions where I have gone to staff or to Marie Contreras and said, what does this mean? What is this about? I have met many times with each of our department heads to ask them about what is on the warrants and demands. It just so happens that these particular consultants, I feel, have not justified the work. If they can justify the work, I will back off. But they have not justified the work for me. So why are we paying people that are not doing the work? It doesn't make sense. And it's taxpayers.
Well, Manny Carrillo, I want to thank you. I know you went to the school board and you talked about this project that was the project that these gentlemen were talking about was a joint use project to build a park, a joint use with the school district to build a park and some soccer fields, which I think was Olive Middle School. And you presented that project. I think you presented it very well, and it's for a grant that's coming up that we're working on. And so I want to thank your staff for doing a good job. I understand that the school board didn't understand it well, but it's going to come back for further consideration. So I want to thank you guys for the great job that you've done.
On January 21st, 2015, Mayor Manuel Lozano made a motion to approve the Civic Plaza Park project, which carried a 4-0-1 vote, with Councilmember Monica Garcia abstaining. After the motion to approve the project was passed, the mayor directed staff to enter into an agreement with La Cañada Design Group to move forward with the preparation of construction plans and specifications for the Civic Plaza, authorizing the finance director to make appropriate transfers and funds adjustments. In February of 2016, Ricardo Pacheco, along with Mayor Manuel Lozano and Monica Garcia, voted to award an exclusive agreement with MJW Investments for a proposed 72-unit apartment complex instead of the Civic Plaza Park, which had already been approved, and more than $500,000 spent and 2 years of planning. Now Ricardo Pacheco and Manuel Lozano want the school district to give up school property at Olive Middle School so the city can build soccer fields which they claim to be for the community. This is false, as the majority of the kids and adults who play in the soccer league don't live in Baldwin Park. Ricardo Pacheco and Manuel Lozano want to please both the developer and the soccer league because something must have been promised. Once again, the residents of Baldwin Park lose.